Thank you, Chair, and good morning, Chama. I'm Mombasaka from Ministry of Finance and National Planning Office of Accountant General. Thank you.
Morning, Moses Chuva from the Office of the Clerk. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chama Town Council. Now you can introduce yourself and the date when you went with the Chama Town Council.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Dr. Mwapika Temwe. I'm the Council Secretary at Chama. Before I ask others, I've been there for 3 months now. Before I ask others to introduce themselves, I wish to tender an apology, Chair, and the entire committee. That the first appearance didn't end as maybe desired. However, we are grateful at Chama Town Council that you've given us another chance. Chair, I thank you.
Thank you.
And I've also fulfilled the direction of this honorable committee that I bring the colleague council secretary who has been there up to now. Thank you. Now I can ask you.
Thank you.
Morning, Chair. My name is John Sampa. I'm Council Secretary on leave. I've been there in Chama since 2018 to date.
Switch off the mic.
Good morning, members of this committee. My name is Bernard Siame, Council Treasurer for Chama Town Council. I've been there since 2017 to date.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Daniel Mikando, District Planning Officer for Chama Town Council. I've been there since December 2020. Thank you.
Good morning, Chair. My name is Richard Mwamankomba, Director of Works, Chama Town Council. I've been with the council from March 2021.
Morning, Chair. Kenyanta Brian Sanga, Chama Town Council Internal Auditor. I've been there since February 2020. Thank you.
Chitaluchu Lufia, Manchester Central MP. Welcome, Chama.
Thank you very much. My name is Honorable Simumba Lucas, Member of Parliament for Nakonde, Acting Chairman for today. Before you submit your report, witness, as you appear before this committee, or indeed any other committee of Parliament, to assist in the deliberations before it, you are protected under Cap 12 or the laws of Zambia, which gives members of Parliament immunity against prosecution for what they say while in the House. This means that the information you give to this particular committee cannot be used against you outside the Parliament or indeed in the course of the law. But we believe that you won't mislead this committee and you continue giving what this committee wants. By so saying, I would now let you know to proceed with what this committee requested from you. You won't lead the full information, but you give us the clarity where you were queried. You can proceed, the Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. If I may be guided further.
You can recall that there were some attachments that this committee wanted. I'm sure this committee have already gone through this report, but where we queried you at first, that's where you can go direct. You show us those attachments, and then we proceed with the questions.
Chair, where we queried is on which were taken by Anti-Corruption Commission.
Yes.
I wish to report to this honorable committee that we wrote the Anti-Corruption Commission on the 17th February and we've been following this issue physically until on Monday. That's when we received their response, and they were collected on Tuesday. We have them here.
So those are the ones now you need to submit to this particular committee so that the committee can see it. After that, the members of this committee will start asking questions. There is no need for you to go through again this report because you presented it before this committee. So if we can have those documents that we queried so that the particular committee...
Chair, may I apologize that these were availed to us after we had already submitted the document. That's why you can't see the attachment, but we have them in the file here.
You can pass. Honorable members, the particular documents are here with us, so we can proceed direct to questions. Starting from locally generated income. Maybe before we go to the questions, Council Secretary, any brief on the documents that you have brought before this committee from SEC?
Chair, not so much, except that these are the details of what was collected, and the status yesterday afternoon was that they are still using them for investigations.
Honorable members, we can continue with the questions.
Chair.
Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, I wanted to say that the evidence that has been brought before us, we needed time to go through. However, due to time, we proceed. I think we shall speak to them as we reach particular areas of interest that respond to these payments. If I can start, Chair, on page CS on the receipts and payments, page 2, you budgeted to collect total local taxes, page 2, the schedule above, 931,629. You only collected 627,423 with a negative variance of 304,206. Now, when you look at the under collection and performance of your budget, you have given different reasons. I will read one of them. Over collection of 112,221 were caused because the council underestimated the levies in the year 2021 budget. But on the permits, the overcollection were caused because the council had imposed the penalty charges on the businesses that could not complete to pay for their permits. My question, Council Secretary, is on licenses, why didn't you impose the same penalties for defaulters who are trading without licenses, and yet you did not impose the same strategy or same decision only on permits? That is where you thought, no, on permits we should impose penalties. Why didn't you employ the same strategy or decision so that you could meet the budget? Thank you, Chair. That's my first one.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. If you look at thank you, Honorable, for that question, through you, Chair. If you look at the licenses, what we're talking about here are firearms. firearms are not displayed anyhow, and people may not just willingly come and give you the what you estimated and what is estimated as a number of firearms in the district were not available, or they didn't come for licensing. So it's very difficult really to trace such. Thank you.
Honorable Kapampi.
Thank you, Chair. CS, what measures have you put in place to address the deficit in your budget collection?
CS.
Thank you, Chair. A number of interventions have been made in the past 3 months. We have embarked on a number of ventures. One of them is block making machine, which we have, and the production was at 500. Now we have found a new yard where we'll be making 3,500. It's quite a lucrative business in Chama. The other one is we are working on a lodge with 24 rooms, which we hope to open in the next quarter. These are some of the areas. But the other intervention from the office point of view is that we are collecting data so that when we budget reasonably. The socio-economic planning unit is working on this, and we are finding a partner to help train people in the wards so that we realistically budget in the future. Thank you.
Honorable Nyombose.
Chair, on the remedial measures for the under collection or underperformance of the budget, over 300,000, the remedial measures you have said the council shall ensure that the due diligence is conducted before it includes an income item in the budget to avoid under collection of revenue or over budgeting. My question goes to you and the treasurer. At which point did you realize or did you learn that you needed to do due diligence or focus on those easy to collect sources of revenue than overstating?
Thank you, Chair. We do budget reviews every quarter. At budget review, we discovered that some of the figures were not really realistic. And that's why I've said in the last 3 months, we've said, no, we can't go on like this. We have gone further to even find a partner to help us so that when we collect data, we'll be budgeting according to the data. It's a budget review, Honorable, through you, Chair.
You can continue.
My follow-up question, CS, is that if you do the budget review, how frequent are your budget reviews? And if so, at which point did you realize that your budget was not performing according to the expectation for the year 2021? And what decisions did you make when you are reviewing? What decisions did you make? Number one, how frequent do you review your budgets? Number two, what actions did you take when you realized that your budget was underperforming? And which measures did you put in place? Any evidence to this matter? Thank you.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Let me take the first part. The other part I'll give the treasurer. For the review, we do it quarterly, which means 4 times in a year. Thank you.
Treasurer.
Thank you so much. Just an addition, as he has put it, the CS, we do a review of our budget, income and budget every quarter. Now, when we look at our estimate for 2021, the biggest challenge was on the fees and charges, which has also caused a negative variance for us to fail to meet the expected collection. So, on the fees and charges, where we have 319,326 as a negative variance, which caused us, is where we had focused as a council to ensure that we would be able to offload the packages of land to be the developers, but we failed because we were guided by physical planning authority in Chinsari not to go ahead because it had other issues which we have put in our query, in our response there. Thank you, Chair.
You can continue. Okay.
Chair, my question has not been answered. You do your budget reviews. The objective of a budget review is to review quarterly. When you're doing it quarterly, is ideal. You realize by the month of March that we are not going to manage to collect 500. What action points did you take to ensure that you adjust up or downwards so that by the end of the year 2021 you could have a realistic budget? In accounts they call it variament or variation. You vary your budget according to the performance. Any evidence to indicate to this committee that you were reviewing your budgets? Because what I've seen, what you budgeted is what at the end of the year was depicted. So if you were reviewing your budgets, any evidence to indicate that we had to vary fees, for instance, on fees and charges, we budgeted to collect 650, but at the second quarter or maybe first quarter or second, fourth quarter, we realized that 650 was not going to be collected because of the trends. So here is evidence. We reviewed and adjusted the figures. Where is the evidence having adjusted the figures to confirm that you were reviewing your budgets? That's my question, Chair.
Council Secretary, you delegate.
Chair, I don't want to answer it generally. Let me ask the treasurer to come in.
Chair, on this one, it's bordering on the aspect of planning department. After the review, we engage the planning department with a view of trying to find out, if possible, that it would offload this packet of land in the period under review, or rather in the year 2021. So that planning took it up. We are waiting for them to guide us to say whether we can adjust the figure or not by engaging the Mchinga Planning Authority by then, so that when we do our review, we can either adjust our budget, looking at that if it was not possible that it can be offloaded to the public.
And what advice were you given from the Mchinga Planning Authority?
Thank you, Chair. What had actually happened was that when we planned this area, it was intact, but on account of overflooding in Chama, it eventually had gullies. And so we thought to find an alternative land which we could plan and also consider revisiting the fees. And that was done, Chair. Thank you.
You can continue, Nambos.
A follow-up question, sorry for this. Do you have any evidence, speaking to what you are telling us, that you were guided by the authority that this place is not conducive, is not ideal for planning? And had it taken the authority, was it the council planning authority or Mchinga province which came to indicate that that place was not ideal? Or you as a council yourselves, you knew, because you are the local authority, that that place was a place that floods, was not conducive? Had it to take the authority to come and guide you? And we rely on evidence. We don't want hearsay. By the third quarter of 2021, there was no authority. What adjustments did you make to your budget to confirm that you were not going to succeed to collect what you had estimated in this report for the year 2021? Thank you.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. I may not have the evidence on what you are talking about in terms of engagement of the Mchinga and the correspondences, because we didn't include them, that we didn't anticipate this question. However, I've seen the documents myself. On verification, this can be proved. On the answer of knowledge, I ask the DPO of the terrain of what happened and so on.
Thank you very much. And yes.
Thank you, Chair. The nature of the land in Chama, Chair, is such that every year Chama is prone to floods. However, that particular year we experienced more rains than usual, and we didn't anticipate that the land would be affected in the way it was. So it was difficult to really plan for that area, or probably exclude it for development planning. Thank you, Chair.
So what's the current situation of the same land as we are talking now? Have you planned?
The current situation, Chair, is that there are actually more gullies developing there, and so it has been abandoned for now, and a new area has been identified. There are only a few places that have remained intact.
Thank you. Any other questions? We can. Any other questions? Yes.
My question is on page 5, Chair. Page 5.
Yes.
Lack of firefighting and prevention services. Are we there, CS? The query is that, I will read it from the top, Chair. There was no ambulance, fire tender, and the protective clothing for firefighters. The council had not installed any fire hydrants around the district. The council did not insure its 2 firefighters at the station. 2 firefighters could not be insured. The question, Chair, is that if you look at the action taken on this particular query, CS, the council wishes to report that the council wrote to the Ministry of Local Government and the Rural Development to request for the fire tender, and the follow-ups with the ministry is ongoing. And furthermore, the council has also budgeted for the procurement of fire hydrants and protective clothing for the firefighters, which is part of the 2023 budget. I've perused through, Chair. If you look at the appendix 13.1 B3 on page 24, Chair, if I can take you there. Chair, let me just. Basically, this appendix, Chair, speaks to a letter written by the Council Secretary to the Minister of Local Government requesting for a fire tender. But the query there goes further to say you failed to procure protective clothing for the firefighters. Worse, you even failed to insure them, just 2 of them. Why has the council failed to undertake the conditions of service of ensuring that protective clothing are given to workers who deserve? Firefighters are insured, thereby risking their lives. Thank you, Chair.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. The 2 questions which the Honorable has asked us. On the issue of protective clothing, we are saying we have put this in our budget for 2023. On the insurance, we have, I think, 2 insurance schemes. One with NEMA in case of any ailment, or maybe fire, somebody, because he's just bent and he's not dead. The other one is Madson in case of death. For us, this is covered enough. And other than that, if we had a fire tender or a fire ambulance, we would have insured that ambulance. But unfortunately, we don't have. I thank you.
Honorable, before you come in, Honorable Nyambose, Honorable Tembo.
Okay, on same chair, why did they have to wait for auditors to raise these queries for you to take action?
Council Secretary.
If you look at the letter, it was written to the ministry way back in 2022, and that was before the audits. I thank you.
The auditors, the Council Secretary, they came in 2021. It was 2022. Okay. Honorable Nyambosa.
The Council Secretary has referred us to the 2023 budget that they have budgeted for protective clothing and insurance. Can you take us to the evidence that speaks to that answer? Thank you.
Council Secretary.
Let me ask the Treasurer, did you include that?
No, thank you. It was not included there.
But you have them?
Yes, we have the budget.
Okay, we can make sure that when you are coming to this committee, all necessary documents are piled up so that the committee can have the chance to see them.
Chair, maybe they can just avail them to our secretariat.
Sure. So you can send those documents to our secretariat here so that they can file them.
We're not, Chair.
We are looking at the year 2021, January to December. This is the year under review. You are telling us that only in 2023, that's when you have realized that they need protective clothing, that they need to be insured. And you are referring us to the 2023 budget. This is in March. Where was the council? Do you appreciate, which word can I use? Do you realize that you are duty bound conditions of service for employees, especially frontline employees, those who collect garbage, those who are firefighters? It is their condition. When did you realize that you needed to buy them this protective clothing? Until when auditors pass through, like Honorable Masaus has indicated, that's when you are putting it in the 2023. The entire 2022, you did not realize that? Thank you, Chair.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. To answer the first part, we really care for our workers because we know that human capital is very important for us to provide the municipal services. However, for the prevailing situation at that particular time, I'll ask my colleague Council Secretary to come in.
Yes, Chairperson. These officers actually were transferred from other councils and had actually uniforms on them. And then when they saw actually they were not enough, they actually requested through my office for them to be procured the new one. No wonder we factored the same actually expense from the budget for 2022, I mean 2023 for them to be procured new uniforms. Thank you, Chairman.
Any other questions? We can move to other questions. Yes.
The other question starts from page 5. Management of payroll and other staff-related matters. Bullet 1, employees without requisite qualifications. There is a schedule on page 6, Chair, which indicates a number of employees having been queried that they don't possess the requisite qualifications for their offices. Chair, when you look at the schedule there, the query says, the council says, the council wishes to report that the query was caused because at the time of audit, concerned officers had not attained the full grade 12 certificate. I'm reading this. At the time of audit, they had not acquired the grade 12, the full grade 12. Chair, it goes further, and they have made some attachment of certain officers that they have undertaken to upgrade or maybe rewrite their papers. According to the report, they are saying 4 officers. Let me read, Chair. The council wishes to report that management has strongly advised the affected officers to start sitting for GCE for them to attain full grade 12 certificate as appendix 13.1 C bullet 1 out of registered to sit grade 12. I mean, only 4 have registered to sit for Grade 12 examinations for July 2023 as appendix. I want you, Council Secretary, to refer us to the appendix that you have attached there and see if there are the 4 who are rewriting. Chair, I've taken note. I went through. Looks like it's only 2 who are attempting to rewrite. Appendix 13, 1. Are we there, CS?
Yes.
1C. I want you to be moving with me so that you can even guide this committee that what I'm saying is correct. Are you there, Treasurer?
Audit query for
Yeah.
employment without
Yes.
Grade 12. Yes.
We are there, Chair. Appendix 13.1C 1 to 2. They have said in their report that 4 are rewriting, but what we have as the attachments, Chair, is only Ananias Mchinzi, 1, and Chama, and Luka Masenga. Can we have the other 2 that you have reported to this committee that they are also rewriting? That's question number 1. Number 2 question is, why are you having lenience on them? Out of 12, only 4 as of 2023. They are still occupying positions without requisite qualifications. Why haven't you regraded them to positions where they deserve? Because this affects service delivery and their performance. So there are 2 questions there.
On the same, before you answer, Honorable Kawapambi.
Thank you, Chair. Why is it that these issues are only brought to the attention of the councils when they are visited by the Auditor General? My question is, what role then is the internal audit playing if we can't even pick it up within ourselves to say there is this problem within ourselves? I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much. So those 3 questions, Council Secretary, if you feel the internal auditor can assist you, you are at liberty. You can continue.
Yes, Chair. I looked at this query, but that was after, so I can't talk to it as my opinion. But I want my colleague to talk to and the internal auditor.
Can continue.
Oh, thank you, Chair. In the first place, the preserve of appointment of actually officers from Division 1 to Division 3 is the preserve of Law Government Service Commission. So councils have really to actually not to control the appointment of these officers. It's assumed when they are actually analyzing people to be employed, they have gone through all issues of who has what in terms of qualifications. So all the same, what we did, I think...
Before you go further, Council Secretary, when you received these officers who don't have qualification, as a principal officer, what did you do?
What it is, we called for the actual qualification. Some of these people actually have grade 12 certificates. What constitutes grade 12 certificate? If one has 2 credits and 3 passes, that's grade 12 certificate. So it's more like auditors who came to audit, they misdirected themselves by saying some officers do not have actually grade 12 certificates. To the contrary. Because when I engaged the PO, I engaged the Debs in Chama, he said what constitutes grade 12 certificate? One has 2 credits and 3 passes. That's is actually grade 12 certificate.
Council Secretary, what are you telling us? Auditors. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. Here the report is telling us we've got these who do not have grade 12. And from your explanation, you're telling us to say, actually, these people have the grade 12 certificate. Because before we can go to the auditors, do you have proof?
Each chairperson actually, I tasked my auditor to go through. Others definitely, they do not have grade 12 certificates, but others they have. It's not all of them.
Council Secretary, according to your information, we have got 9 positions here. How many are you confirming to this honorable committee that they have grade 12 certificate?
Chairperson, I don't want to cheat the committee unless actually we go back to the office. Then during actual verification, you can avail the same certificates.
So according to your information, you are telling this committee to say the external auditors, they have misled us.
Precisely, Chairperson. But some of them have full grade 12 certificates. Not all of them do not have.
Chair, the issue here is you knew this was an audit query. And when you are coming, you've told us, you told the internal auditor to verify. And went to verify and told you there are others who have, and you do not have the proof. And it tells you it does not even have the number, how many? And you're coming here to tell us to say others have. We should believe it like that.
So, Council, or before you come in, Honorable Nyambose?
Just to augment to what Honorable Korara said, it is quite strange for the Council Secretary to strongly condemn the external auditors and justify that the report given to us on this particular matter is wrong by the auditors without him laying evidence on the table. We are evidence-based committee. We want to look at what is evidence there. You were given room to go back and bring evidence to each and every query. And how can you do that without laying evidence? Bwana Council Secretary, where is the evidence to tell us that certain officers have the grade 12s and certain number do not have? When you have confirmed in your report down there that the rest of the same number of 9, some of them have been, all of them have been encouraged to rewrite. If they have the requisite qualification, why did you put this line that you have encouraged them to rewrite, but only 2 are the ones you have attached having? So these who have attached who are doing it, it means it's true that they don't have the requisite qualifications. Where is the evidence, Chair? It's strange to accuse the auditors and give this committee no.
Council Secretary?
Yeah, first and foremost, I wish to apologize for that statement, but I wish this could be left to verification so that we sort out the misunderstanding which is there between what constitutes a grade 12 certificate. Then we'll come up with.
Chair, CS, when we told you to go back, this committee told you to go back. What did we tell you to go and do?
To go and bring more evidence.
Is this the evidence you've brought now?
I'm apologizing for that statement which we did expect.
Before external auditors?
Thank you, Chair. CS, the query on the requisite qualification was based on the documents you gave us. We requested for the files for the officers, which you gave us. We went through the files. The documents were missing. There were no qualifications for these that were cited. You were written to say that we have not seen the grade 12 qualifications for these officers. You did not provide evidence to the contrary to show that they have the grade 12s. Still querying you to say we have not seen the grade 12 grade certificates for these people. You still did not provide the grade 12 certificates. The DAP was sent to you to confirm that we have not seen the grade 12 certificates even as we do the final report. You still did not give us the grade 12 certificates. If for sure you add them, all these through this audit process, why were these not availed to the auditors? For you to come and say that they were there and we just did misled ourselves. You were given the opportunity through all these processes, but you did not give us the documents.
CS, before you come in, there is a statement from your action taken. You are stating to say, out of 9 cited officers, is your report. out of 9 cited officers without grade 12 certificates, only 4 have registered to sit for grade 12 examinations in July 2023. I wanted you to inform this committee, what does this mean? If you, in your action taken, you are saying out of 9 cited officers without grade 12 certificates, only 4 have registered to sit for grade 12 examination in July. What does it entails? CS.
So what it means is that some do not have actually grade 12 certificates. But
does it mean all of them 9 or some?
Some have full certificates and some do not have full
I'm saying according to your report, you are saying out of 9 cited officers without a grade 12. Before we go further, when I just reach here, what does it mean? Does it mean some out of 9 have got the 12 certificates or all of them 9?
Chairperson, that arose when auditors came. Yes. The officers could not actually avail this grade 12 certificates to actually auditors. Even on the files, those actual copies were not there. That's actually forced actually the auditor general to pick it, to cite as a query. But when they went, we asked the officers to bring actual certificates. They brought. And then after going through certificates, some of them actually have grade 12 certificates. Some they don't have.
Honorable Nyambose, Kolala, and Tembo.
Our auditors have indicated several reminders and write-ups and meetings. You couldn't avail these grade 12 certificates, and they were not sitting on the files. You were returned to come back with the evidence to all these queries raised here. Why have you neglected to bring? Are they genuine certificates for this matter that they can just show to you, Council Secretary, and keep them in their homes? Why haven't you come with them here? And yet you are accusing the auditors, a serious indictment on the issue of the auditors, that they are lying, that some have got these certificates. How true is the report?
CS, you have files, your HR, in your HR office, files for these 9, I presume.
Yes, Chairperson, you have.
Now, in those files, before the auditor, before the external auditors come in, did you have time to go through and see what is in those files? Or did you get any report from HR that some of the files did not have the grade 12 certificate?
The Human Resource Department could not actually inform my office that some officers have not submitted their grade 12 certificates. I just saw it through the exit report. That's when I realized some officers did not submit their grade 12 certificates.
What you're telling us is that it was only after the auditor, the external auditors came, that you realized that others did not have.
Yes, Chairperson.
What is your HR office doing?
I will apologize on his behalf. It means they didn't do a good job. Was each and every file should have actually all requested qualification for each and every office.
The question is, what do they do? They just sit. What work do they do?
Casa Secretary.
No, they have a number of actually job to do. So on this one, actually there was a lapse. They couldn't do actually a good job, or as a council didn't do actually a good job.
As a principal officer, you have these department, heads of departments, when they put you in such a situation, how do you consider them? Is that competence or incompetence? And if it's incompetence, what is the action you need to take?
Actually, Chairperson, this is incompetence, high level of incompetence, which actually I cannot condone. But going forward, what I'm asking the Chairperson is that I think we have to sit down with the auditors when they come to Chama to check all grade 12 certificates, and they should advise us what constitutes the grade 12 certificate.
Honorable Kapabi.
Chair, my question has not been answered, but I can just ride on what Honorable Kolala is just from asking. I think I also questioned, not only HR has got a problem then, even internal audit. This could have even been captured by internal audit to say there is this issue, why these people, they don't have the required qualifications. So it means basically the whole council maybe has got a problem. If internal audit couldn't pick that, HR couldn't pick that, then what can we call that? I submit, Chair.
Council Secretary, are these officers still with you? Because when you look at even number 2, district accountant, no full grade 12. Are our funds safe?
Chair, I can confirm that I've physically seen them. I've found them. They are there.
Honorable.
Thank you, Chair. I don't know if you would allow me to go to
yes.
one question that is really burning.
You can proceed.
Yes.
So before you proceed, Council Secretary, we need these evidence, the qualifications, if they have, you need to make sure that you submit for verification, because this is a committee that deals with the factual. So we need all those to submitted to our secretariat. Honorable Kola, you can proceed.
Yes, Chair. I want to go to management of constituents development fund.
On page G?
On the auditor's report is on page 18. I don't know.
Yeah. Before you come, let him. You can continue. Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Chair, it's on management of local government equalization fund. Failure to reimburse borrowed funds. During the period under review, the council borrowed amounts totaling 1,013,500 kwacha from the capital account to meet operational expenses. As at 30th September 2022, the funds had not been reimbursed. As at September 2022, that 1 million was not reimbursed. Coming to the action taken, Council Secretary, the council wishes to report that the council had put up a liquidation plan, which you have not attached, or maybe you have attached, through various payment plans, which is part of the 2023 budget. I would like to see that, Council Secretary. Now, further, you say, however, after analyzing the schedule of the borrowed funds, it was discovered that actually the actual borrowed funds is 679,000, and the difference of 334 were funds received in the capital account from various clients such as cotton companies, ISH, Chair, you are following there, those companies, that 300 was part of the monies put. The question, Council Secretary, the 20% capital component from Local Government Equalization Fund has its own account, has it? The other funds that come from other clients who are paying for rates, for telephone masts, for cotton companies, they have their own account where you put the money. How true is it, Treasurer, that this money, instead of being deposited in those operational accounts, where actually money is put in the capital account? Number one. Two, the regulation is very clear that you cannot borrow resources for operation expenses without authority of the Ministry of Local Government. Why did the council take 1,013,000 and used it for operation expenses without authority when this money was meant to service the community, such as wards and other projects? Thank you, Chair.
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. Just allow me to ask my treasurer to
You can.
give the details of this.
Council Treasurer.
Thank you so much. For this one, we have operation district fund account, which sits with NATSEV, where we receive various licenses. Sorry. For their companies who have been failing to transact with NATSEV, and they have been requesting for local authority, if at all they have a commercial bank such as NATSEV, Zanaco, which they can use for them to pay those funds, because when they want to transact using NATSEV, they were failing to do banking online. So we are open to, we are giving those companies, when we are collecting for grain levies such as those cotton companies, we are giving them Zanaco account for them to transact. So when they have transacted through that Zanaco account, we will then
that Zanaco account is for which? Is it for capital?
It's for capital.
Okay.
Yes, it's for capital account. So we'll give them that account for them to make an easy transfer, because what normally happened, what used to happen before NATSEV became a clearinghouse on its own, they were using other banks. So when they want to do a banking, online banking, online transactions through NATSEV, they were failing to find NATSEV. So they were asking several times for other companies to provide an alternative account. So we own of Zanaco through Rundazi. So we would give them, after they transact, then we transfer that amount from capital account into operation account. I thank you, Chair.
Yes.
Chair, Treasurer, where is the evidence indicating that you had authorized or written to those companies to put money in the capital account? And how do you confirm that 364 is a total that these companies? How much was each company paying to add to 334? Further, there is no evidence attached, Chairperson, to indicate, no appendix to show that this amount was actually the amount that was transferred by way of a bank statement. There's nothing to that. Treasurer, why do you want to mislead this committee when you have not attached evidence to show what you are trying to explain? Thank you.
Council Treasurer, how did they do the transaction, the people, these companies?
Chair, when we invoice them, we write them a letter of bank details using HeartSave. So they would call to say, I've been trying to make online banking with this
How
account.
did they do a transaction? Is it through bank?
It's through bank.
Do you have the evidence, the slip, so that we know how much each company deposited in that particular capital account?
No, we through the bank statement, Chair. Unfortunately, Chair, we did not attach the bank statement. When analyzing the borrowed funds, we had used the schedule from the auditors. So it's the one which we are now trying to mark to say, no, these funds were not borrowed, but we transferred because these were the funds which came from other companies like IHS Zambian Towers. Then we tried to scrutinize to say, oh, these funds were not borrowed, but these funds were coming from others. So we had used the schedule from the auditors itself.
Council Treasurer, try to help this committee because we are generating a report. So what should we pick from what you are saying? What should we write that which we can submit to the main building? What are you saying? Can you tell us something that we can pick, something that we write, something that even the honorables here can understand? I'm not getting what you are saying. What should we write?
Chair, maybe to help you, why was that information not shared with the auditors when they came in? And if at all that is correct, like what Honorable Nyambose is just from alluding to, it's either you would have provided the statement or even proof of payment from the client. I submit, Chair.
Thank you very much. Because for us, maybe we are seeing like it's not only 334 that was deposited. If we say from this committee that you received more than 300,000, what can you tell this committee?
Chair, I counter-checked on the bank statement, and the amount which it was totaling up was coming to 334,500. And this can be verified on the bank statement. Unfortunately, the bank statement was not attached, Chair.
When can we have that?
The bank statement, I can even email today because I have it on the soft copy.
Okay, we'll basket that one. Then we can go to another question.
Before we go to Honorable Kora, the issue is only missing payment vouchers.
Before you ask that one, Honorable Nyambose, we would want the vouchers to be verified by our external auditors, the ones that you have come with. If you can pass through the external auditors. They are there. You can continue, Honorable Nyambose.
Thank you very much, Chair. The question is on page 9, missing payment vouchers. I will summarize. Contrary to the regulation, 10, I want you to take note on this one. 10, contrary to the regulation, 10 payment vouchers in amounts totaling 213, mark the figure, 213,309, made during the period under review were not availed for audit. The reasons for the query, the Council wishes to report that the query was caused because the 10 payment vouchers missing were among the documents collected by Anti-Corruption Commission during some investigations at Chama Council in January 2022. Chair, action taken. The Council wishes to report that Council wishes to report that we officially wrote to Anti-Corruption Commission Anti-Corruption Commission on 17th February 2023 and made up follow-ups on 1st March 2023. We are waiting for response. Chair, the first question is, why did it take up to February, which is last month, to write to ACC requesting for this evidence? Why didn't you avail the documents during the audit process? If they were picked, audit process came after they were picked by ACC. Why didn't you write to them in advance to indicate before 2023 February last month and this month on the 1st which documents you have attached?
Council Secretary.
Thank you, Chair. My treasurer will add. If the committee can recall, we presented a schedule of what was picked by the ACC, and we were guided by the chair that no, we didn't need that schedule, but the actual. This caused me to write a letter in February. Probably my office was relying on the schedule that it was probably adequate, but the committee directed us to do so. That's why we wrote in February. Thank you. Maybe the treasurer can add some more.
Council Treasurer, it's fine. Honorable Nyambose.
Chair, now I come to the other one, is misapplication of capital project funds.
Before you go there, Honorable Kolala. Yes.
Thank you, Chair. For me, my main interest has been on, in this green book, that's page 18.
Okay.
Yes, page 18, and the row number 5, bohos. This is utilization of CDF. You picked a contractor to do bohos, and you paid the contractor upfront payment of 600,000, and these bohos by the time of audit were not done. And the audit was done in 2022. That should have been September, isn't it? And this contractor was paid in 2021 the money to do the boreholes. And people were waiting for these boreholes. Presumably they are still waiting for them up to now. What really transpired?
Council Secretary?
Yes, Chair. Allow me to ask my counterpart to.
Before, can I add a question on that?
And let him first answer. You proceed.
Yes, Chairperson. What transpired was the contractor mobilized and drilled 9 bores. Some areas were completely inaccessible. So he wrote a letter to my office for me to be given actually to demobilize. And then when these areas would be actually accessible, we would come back and finish the work. And unfortunately, had some problem which actually unforeseen problem which we did not know. So we pursued him using our lawyers and the Inspector General of Police. At last, he was actually met, and then he wanted for him to come back to Chairman and finish the works. He phoned, I think 3 weeks ago. He says if areas will be accessible, actually he's coming back and finish the work. That's what on the ground.
What really made you pay him all that amount? in advance?
Chairperson, Chama is actually is a unique actually area, terrain. We only a contractor to work only for 2 to 3 months. Some areas are only accessible in October, some areas actually November, some areas in September. So by the time we came there, our actually arrangement was that he buys everything, and when he's on the ground, he wanted to finish all 16 balls and equip them and leave the place.
Was that within the law?
The money actually which he got, actually it was just an advance. After he had a lot of problems, a lot of balls collapsed. He lost a lot of castings, he lost a lot of fuels and such kind of stuff. So he confided with that to say, please, look, I'm finishing this job. We are dealing with a company, not an individual.
The question says was that within the law? That's what.
Yes, Chairperson. That was actually advance, which was the advance to him.
You were dealing a contractor who had all those issues, yet, and the way you are coming out, that even before you had gave him the job you gave him, you knew what he was going through. That the contractor was doing boreholes which were collapsing. What made you pick on him? Was he the only one?
Chairperson, that was the second one. Chama, as I said earlier on, is actually very difficult terrain. It's in a valley, and the soil actually is sandy. The only actually machine which can do good job is what we call a mud drilling machine, of which he had. But there's certain areas whereby even though he has mud drilling machine, it's still more balls could collapse and he loses out on his casings and what have you. So this one actually was one of the best actually. For him to have managed to do almost 15, 9 were actually okay, and the rest were actually dry balls and the others collapsed. He wanted him to spill over to some other areas, and unfortunately the areas were not accessible. One of them in Cambarans was crossing of Ruangwa River. He couldn't actually cross across the Ruangwa River because water levels were still very high, and using heavy equipment it was not possible for him to cross the other area.
How do you do your projects in Chama? Because the way you are coming out is like there are no studies that are taken. It's like there are no engineers who would bring into consideration whatever challenges that are on board. How do you do contracts in projects in Chama?
Chairperson, I will allow my engineer and the DPO to actually shed a bit of light to the committee.
It's a follow-up to what?
Thank you, Chair. I think for Chama, I think the accessibility actually maybe, let's say during, November to somewhere May. I think most of the areas are not usually accessible. So I think the time maybe for project implementation, it's usually somewhere June up to October, somewhere there. I think certain areas, as we are speaking, I think we are even cut off to even reach certain areas. I submit, Chair.
At what point did you realize those challenges? Because it's you gave the contract, and the time you are giving that contractor that job, you knew. At what time did you realize the only time you can do the project in those months you've mentioned?
Council Secretary, or whoever you can.
Thank you, Chair. I think specifically for this project, I think the contractor mobilized in August. I think he had drilled some boreholes there and there, and then after I think the rains had started, I think that is when he wrote to the office of the council secretary for temporal withdrawal. But I think those when these other follow-ups letters were availed to the contractor. I submit, Chair.
How much was the total project?
Actually, this contractor had there are 2 contracts actually. Should be the other one for 300. The other one was I think the other one was 300, is it?
So meaning you paid the whole total amount in advance?
No, Chairperson. There is actually money remaining on the actually CDF account.
According to the information that the question is, how much was the total project? And you have answered to say the first project was 300 and the second one was 300, and you gave them 600. Do you call this as a down payment?
Personally, probably the council treasurer got the house according.
Same. Chair, I want to refer to the letter written by NARI advocates, just to follow up on what Honorable Kolala has indicated on the payments. Are we there? It's an appendix. Yeah.
Appendix what?
They don't. Appendix 13, what? On the bohos, it has appendix. It's appendix 13.1 F3 to 5 on page 38, although it's not numbered. The pages are not numbered, but they say 38.
Okay.
Yes, Chair. I just wanted to confirm what Honorable Korar has indicated. Treasurer, if you have a calculator or your phone there, do you confirm those figures that are there on this appendix? There is a figure, and I'll read that later from the council, the Chama Council advocates, the company, the legal company for the council. In pursuance of the said contract, our clients paid Yalesia Enterprise Limited the following sums towards mobilization, geographical investigations, borehole drilling and borehole lining and installation, purchase of hand pump sets, development tests and pumping, development test pumping and laboratory tests, and civil works and sterilization. Bullet number one, the sum of 25,000 kwacha. Second was the sum of 120,000. Third was the sum of 75,000 kwacha. Fourth was the sum of 60,000 kwacha. And the fifth was the sum of 60,000 kwacha. All these are the amounts being confirmed by your legal company, company. Now, answer just one question to what Honorable Kolar has indicated. Did you pay all these amounts only for the 6 boreholes drilled, or you paid in advance all these amounts before they could realize that the area was not conducive for borehole drilling? That is my question. Second question, Chair, I hope you can take note. On the letter that was written by response, Mr. It says, further to our contract to drill boreholes, so 16 boreholes in your district, and due to the challenges, whatever time taken to drill 6 boreholes, I'll end there. Are you there, CS? They are saying they only did 6 boreholes. Now let's go to the report, what the auditors discovered. Chair, I will take you to page 17. It says, building had not, this is, let me go to, not 17, to the boreholes. It's on page what? Oh, it's here. Should be 16, Chair. Yes, 16. Page 15 to 16. That the council wishes action taken. The council support that The contractor wrote a letter on whatever. I want to look at the number of boreholes drilled. Yeah, sorry, Chair. It says behind there. Yeah, that down there, it says 9 boreholes and drilling remaining 7. On page 17, Chair, on top there. Before the, on top there, it says he drilled 9 boreholes, remaining 7 boreholes, equipping them accordingly. Now, if you look at the auditor's findings, your report says he drilled 9. There were 7 remaining. On the letter that Yerezia wrote, he confirms only drilling 6. How do you reconcile the two? You as engineers who go on the site, here the auditors, you are telling them that only 9 were drilled, 7 were remaining. Yerezia confirms the contractor that he only did 6 of them. Now you can marry to the area question of the figures.
Council Secretary.
Maybe we start with the on the boreholes, the numbers.
Thank you, Chair. I think on the number of bores, which were drilled were 9, as per se. He had drilled actually more than those, but I think from the earlier explanation to what the CEO was saying, certain bores were collapsing. But from what we have at the office, the water coordinator, I think the one who was going in the field, I think the files which we have, it's we have 9 which are okay in terms of even the way when they drilled the boreholes. I think they were above 0.3 liters per second. I think that is a good yield for borehole drilling. I think that is where we basing the issue of the 9 boreholes, which I think we even verified. I submit, Chair.
Chair. CS, this question of the figures, I'm sure maybe the contractor, the reason why he showed that he understands. When you pay somebody to do a borehole, then he drills that borehole, and there is no water, it's a dry borehole, it collapses. Whose responsibility is it?
It's the contractor, Chairperson.
Now, why do you want to add the numbers of collapsed or dry boreholes for him, even when those can't provide the service to the people?
Based on the boards actually counted here, about 9. Those actually boards which actually have water, not the collapsed one, who haven't actually accounted on the same.
Are these boreholes now serviceable? Are they service the people of Chama?
Chairperson, the contractor is coming back in June, equip them and finish the remaining 7 so that we clear him.
Since you are entrusted to provide a service by the government, you are entrusted to provide a service to the people. And you've kept people longing for water from 2021 to date. And they're still telling us to say somebody you paid public money to provide water. This is when now he's saying he should come and provide water after 2 years. How do you feel?
Chairperson, I feel very bad. Actually, the problem which we had, we are not privy for the same. Otherwise, we didn't sit idle as management. We've been pursuing him up to the level whereby we reported him actually to Inspector General of Police. That's when it was fished out. And then when we sat down between our lawyers and Inspector General of Police, he agreed. He mobilized in July and finished the whole works.
Is your counsel relevant to the people of Chama.
Okay.
The Council.
Chair, I'm a little bit confused with figures here.
Yes.
If you add up the amount on the letter from the lawyers, it's giving us 440. And if you check on what is in the actual report, it is saying they paid him 600 plus. Which one is the correct figure? Because if this is the letter which has been written to the lawyers to say, oh, these were according to the way the payments were being done, 125, 120, 75, 60, and 60. It's giving you 440. So what is the correct amount which was paid to this contractor? I submit, Chair.
Buenos Aires.
Thank you, Chair. The Treasurer may consult these figures and tell us the result.
Treasurer, what's the correct figure that our Secretariat can indicate?
Chair, the correct figure is the one which was picked by auditors, which was 600,000 kwacha and 28 kwacha.
Chair, how do you reconcile when your advocates have written to him with 440? Because this is a letter which is coming from your advocates to say he owes you for 440. I submit, Chair.
Are you telling us that you are going to collect them to say, no, in fact, we gave you 600 kwacha or 600,000? To them, they are confirming through their lawyers that they received that much. So what is the correct figure that we can take? Council Secretary, Council Treasurer?
Thank you, Chair. Otherwise, this figure is not the contractor who was confirming to the lawyer. I think we, as a council, we didn't just add some figures because we are the one who availed this figure to our lawyer. It's not the contractor. The contractor, as it stands, he knows that he was paid 600,000 kwacha. I submit, Chair.
Chair, this is a letter coming to the council. Is it the council advocate who wrote to the contractor, right?
Chair, this letter was written to the IG, not the contractor.
Or this letter was written to the IG?
Yes.
So you are saying you gave a wrong information to the IG. That's what you are telling us?
Chair, we can say we didn't we gave not a comprehensive figure because according to what is on the ledger it is 600 but not 440.
Who was giving this information to this particular council? Is it somebody from the council or outside the council?
Chair, what we can recall very well that we submitted necessary information to our lawyer. Maybe when they were typing to the IG from their office, they could have left other payments to be included.
Thank you. Treasurer, when you say you submitted the right information, do you have the document that you submitted that has the correct information that you?
Here we speak with the documents. We don't just speak from our verbal talk, no. Kindly, if you have got those documents, you can avail them to us.
Yes, Chair, this is the competent treasurer. At the time that if you look at this appendix or letter written to the IG, the council was copied. And the council was copied that it is 440 41, 44. And at the point that the advocate was writing, based on the information given to them by the council, they couldn't correct the advocate to say, no, the figure you have put there is not the correct one. Actually, it's 600 that we are owed. So that the IG could prosecute or arrest this particular person. How competent is the treasurer safe with such excuses is given by your office? That's my worry, Chair. I'm worried, serious.
Chair, if you look at even the date when this letter was written, this was written on the 4th of May 2022. And to date, you couldn't even notice to say, actually, the figure which was submitted to the IG was less, is owing the council. And I'm sure even before submitting this to the IG, this advocate you engaged must have given you a copy to go through if that was okay with you before submitting. I submit, Chair.
Council, we want to get the full information and nothing but the truth. As we stated, you remember, this committee, you have got the immunity. You need just to tell us the truth so that our secretariat can really write a comprehensive report that will be submitted in the main building. How can you reconcile the two, the 600,000 and the 440?
Through the chair, that's what I was saying. When I was asked by the CS to submit the information, because it's the one who forwarded the information to the lawyer. So we collected the all information and I gave through the CS's office. Is the one who to our lawyer.
Chair, thank you, Chair. CS, I know the normal procedure is after the lawyer did whatever he did before submission, you are availed a copy to go through and see if everything was correct, right? When you went through that report, the figure that you are saying could have not been put there, why was it not put there?
I think, Chairperson, on this one, I submitted everything. It could have been probably the typographical error coupled with when I was actually on leave. I couldn't actually check. This letter came through an email some time back. After he had written the letter, been taken to the IG, I received it after some months through my email address.
So what you're saying, the one who made an error is your lawyer?
Should be our lawyers when we're submitting. Otherwise, the information was given to him.
Chair, my next question is on page 12. Failure to recover funds from the contractor. Rehabilitation of Muliro Maternity Annex in Muliro Ward at a contract price of 43,798. The scope of the works indicated there. Then, as at September 2022, the contractor was paid an advance of 11,224. Action taken, the council wishes to report that the council has recovered the funds from the contractor and the contract has since been terminated as Appendix 13.1F. Now, I want the treasurer to take interest. You have recovered this money which was paid to the contractor. I want you to take us to the page of evidence where it indicates that this money was actually paid back to the council. Second question, Chair. This contract was terminated in October 2021. And as of September 2022, the contractor was paid an advance amounting to 11,000. When this contract was terminated in October 2021, before auditors came there. When was this 11,000 paid to these contractors at advance? And where is the evidence indicating that this actually the money has been paid back? The appendix that termination for the completion of Muliro maternity is in October 2021. Treasurer, where is the evidence?
Okay, Treasurer, you can take those two, and others can switch off their mics.
Chair, the evidence is on page 33, where we have attached the termination letter and also the IPC, which was showing that he had another contract where we were supposed to pay him 52,864,000 Tengwe. Then we recovered 11,224.59. Then we paid him 41 from his previous contract. Then we have attached the bank statement where we paid now direct, where we paid that 11,000, which we recovered from the contractor. So there's a bank statement after the IPC. So you see 11,224.59, which we recovered from his funds.
There, Chair, a follow-up question. When you look at that statement, can you read what is written? Payment for what? Debt swap from Chama South, 11,224.
Yes.
What was the debt swap about?
The other contract, Chair, which is on the IPC, is Mavinga 1x2 classroom block, where we are supposed to pay him 52,000 kwacha. That is Chama South. Now the contract we terminated is Muliro, which is in Chama North. So Chama South we are paying Chama North, which is 11,000. So that's why it's getting payment debt swap to Chama South.
Okay. Chair, if you look at the statement, it's dated 13th December 2022. How do you reconcile the dates with September 2022?
Chair, the payment was the IPC for the recovery was generated in June 2022. So after that was recovered, then when we were trying to resolve this audit queries, we discovered that we haven't paid 11,000. That's why in December we had to do that transfer from Chama South to Chama North, which is amounting to 11,224.59. I submit, Chair.
Chair, the other question? The other question is on page 13, Chama South. Renovation of a classroom block at Mavinga 1x3 at Mavinga School. The contractor, the building mechanic limited. Contract price was 182,914. Amounts paid 120,904.25 kwacha. Now, the building had been completed and handed over. However, 3 grill doors costing 8,000 kwacha had not been fitted. What did the council hand over a building without grill doors? And if I take you to the evidence, evidence which has been adduced, we can go to the appendix. The evidence, chairperson, if you look at this evidence I've put, it has a grill door. And from the evidence, appendix, it's on page what? Director Engineering, you can assist us because this is your area. You have just taken a picture of a grill door. Grill doors costing 8,000 kwacha had not been fitted, and you went on to hand over the building. And when you show evidence, you have taken a picture which has a grill door, and one picture, and this grill door could be at your house. It doesn't show the school to depict. Council Secretary, are you there? Are you with me? You agreeing with me? Does this confirm that indeed the 3 grill doors? There are 2 questions. Why did you hand over before completing the works on the school? And the evidence that you have given. This one shows a grill door. It has a grill door. Thank you, Chair.
Council, okay, before you can just take note of those questions. Honorable Mulunda.
Siriri, Warren, Council Secretary, you realize that you appeared before this committee?
Yes, Chairperson.
Early on. And then we advised you to go back and put your house in order. And it's my belief that you went through this report as management you sat. And if you did that, we don't expect these things where you say you handed over the building without grill doors, and then you put the pictures as evidence that they are grill doors. Did you have time to sit down and go through your work and look at the queries that are coming from this committee? Did you do that?
Yes, Chairperson. Actually, when we went back, we sat down and then we put our house in order, and that actually school, the actually grill doors have been fixed, and it's actually been handed over to the community accordingly.
Before Honorable Nyambos, Honorable Kola, do you have any other follow-up question?
Yes, for me, I think it's just trying to know, because looking at most of these things that are happening, if other stakeholders were being involved, I think it would have been different. I just want to find out, how is your working relationship with the 2 members of parliament?
The position, I don't know the past, but it is very cordial between my office and the 2 members of parliament.
Thank you very much. Honorable Kapampi.
I'll still take you back to the issue of the pause. I'm still not clear. Because at some point I heard the CS saying there's still a balance owed to the contractor. And we haven't really been given the total sum of the contract. And if that was the total sum of the contract, the 600, which was paid to him, the whole amount was paid, what criteria was used? And the other question is, are we confirming as the council that we actually allied with what we did? I submit, Chair.
Honorable Nyambos comes in. Those 2 questions.
Thank you so much. For the balls, it had 2 lots, lot 1 and lot 2. Lot 1 was 300, and lot 2 should be lot 2 or lot 1 at 400 kwacha. So as the ledger indicates, for me it indicates that we have a balance of 100,000 kwacha from those.
So the total contract was 700.
700.
And we have paid 600.
Yes.
How much was for Boho?
It was at 50.
50. And you paid 600.
Sure.
And how many did he do?
9.
9.
Sure.
9 times 50 is 450. Why did you pay the excess 150 for something that was not done?
Thank you, Chair. I think for the first payment, that was the advance payments. I think those ones which you are seeing on the list, 125 and 120, those were advance payments. So when we usually are preparing the APCs, I think we usually knock down the advance as we are making these other payments. I submit here.
The contract of 700, you pay the down payment of 600. Are we really doing the right thing? What are the benefits? Because the people of Chama have been waiting for these boreholes. Each and every time our MPs there, they talk about water. And these are the issues that they could have been resolved because the monies are there. What measures have you put in place to make sure that such a thing shouldn't repeat itself? Council Secretary.
Chair, what's the percentage of mobilization? I believe these things have got percentages. I submit, Chair.
Those two questions?
Let me take, Chair, the first question. Yes, realizing that as a controlling officer that there are some weaknesses which I should admit before the committee in the internal controls. My internal auditor here, I've personally trained him how to follow the project cycle. I think there were some lapses in terms of when do they monitor these projects, even pre-auditing the projects, the sites. I believe that because from the few months that I've been with them, is that they are following this cycle and we're not seeing this repetition. Thank you. That one I can assure you.
Second one, who is going to take it? From Honorable Kapampi. Mobilization.
Thank you, Chair. Actually, it was an advance payment, not really mobilization.
Was it a contract?
Yes, Chair.
Chair, the question is, was it part of the contract? And can you avail that contract that indicates to you that you have to pay that amount as advance payment before the contract is done?
Chair, this Chama Town Council should help us to understand. We just want to understand. That's all. See, these bores are paid 600 before they are drilled. If they are not, and what you have paid, nicely you tabulate. We have given these people, this is mobilization, or this is an advance, and this is what is obtaining on the contract. We have the contract here, and it says we have to pay this much as we start. Those things nicely so that we are able to follow and then be able to write those things.
Yes, Chair.
Yes.
You did mathematics, and in the mathematics it gave us
450.
Then the lawyers for the council, how much is
440.
So when you look at this, could it be that actually that is the amount of money that was paid to the contractor and not the 600?
Council Secretary, you delegate who tell us who to answer that question.
The actual amount paid was 600 because this was verified together with the Auditor General. I submit, Chair.
Yeah. If you allow me, looking at the way they are struggling to answer, Chair, it is quite strange when I take you to page 17, if you allow me, Chair.
Yes.
Construction of a 1x3 classroom block at Nkoka Primary School. Contractor Christopher Zimba Hardware Supply. Contract price 1,215,123. Amount paid 228,804. Further, I'll go in summarizing. Further, the contractor was overpaid by 11,925. Take note, Treasurer and the CS. Contractor was overpaid 11,000. Show me the evidence that this overpayment was actually recovered as you have indicated. Second, Chair, is on page 18. Construction of a laboratory at Chifunda Day Secondary School. Contractor Christopher Zimba Hardware. Contract price 349,800. Amount paid 5,039. Further, the contractor was overpaid 154,184. And you indicate that this contractor has since paid back the said amount of 154. The other one, Chair, is on page 19. Take note, CS and the team. Is on page 17. Chama North Constituency. Construction of a bridge at Kadura Bridge. Contract sum 60,000. Amount paid 130,780. And it says, I want a strange thing, no contract, no contract, no contract. But the contract has been stated as Christopher Zimba Hardware. The bridge completed and was in use. However, the contractor was overpaid 70,780. Strange for Chama Council. Contractor overpaid. So I want you to reconcile with me, Bwana Treasurer, because I've done it. I will take you to the appendices. First, that he has paid 11,000, you show me the evidence. Chair, this is critical. The MPs and the people of Chama have been lamenting about development, all of us. Here is the money. Strange enough, contractors, not only Zimba, but everyone, for Chama Council, I've never seen, overpaid. So where is the director of engineering in signing the IPCs and authorizing? Where is the internal auditor in checking whether these people are paid accordingly? Where is the treasurer? And where is the council secretary? That's the question number one that begs an answer. Then we go to the reconciliation. I've done my additions. Chair, I know due to time. When we add together, Chair, on the repayments, I've done my additions. They're here. At the end there. These are the repayments. And I've totaled them. They only amount to 133,000. We can go one by one, and I want the treasurer to confirm with me. 70,000 overpaid, 154 overpaid, and 11,000 overpaid. I've just taken one contractor, and he has since you have recovered 133. And of these accounts, I will tell you, Council Secretary, take note. Chair, I want you to move with me because of time. If you see that the repayments were going to account number 05-865-52-300-128. Council Secretary, I believe this is the CDF account. Now, if you look at the other payments, repayments, they were going to strange accounts. The last, towards the end of the appendices, you note these coming from Zanaco. Yes. Chair, I will take you one by one for the interest of this country and this committee. The repayments that are being confirmed and the dates are there. Coming from an account, ABCD, going to this council account, which I've just stated, named Chama South CDF. Treasurer, is it true? That is the account for Chama South CDF.
You can confirm?
Yes, just say yes. Yeah. So the first repayment was amounting to 20,000. Second repayment was amounting to 5,000. Going to the same account, CDF account. The third payment was going to the same account amounting to 25,000 kwacha. The other repayment was 22,000 kwacha going to the same CDF account for Chama South. Then the other repayments of 3,000 kwacha, strange figure, low figure, going to Chama South accounts, the same account. Then the other repayment of 15,000 kwacha going to the now Chama District Council account, Chama Development account. The question is, why take it to this development account, this 15,000 kwacha? Was it a repayment towards the overpayment over CDF? Council secretaries, take note. The other repayment of 25,000 kwacha, it went again to another account, Chama District Council account, a different account of 0180. This other one is same as 018, Chama District account. Is this repayment going to the CDF or it was going to the Chama Council account? The other repayment was the 18,000 kwacha going to the Chama District account. And when you total these, they amount to 133,000. But when you add 154, 70,000, and you add the 11,000 just for this one contractor, strangely, you see to it that the response you have given is misleading not only to this committee and to the but to the nation, that you have since recovered the money. And I want external auditors to take interest in this matter, that what is happening at Chama Council is not helping this country. Can you explain to those questions I've given? Chair, I've also done something on, I saw something before we came to only the missing receipts, management of equalization fund, borrowed funds. Chair, misapplication of capital projects. When you look at the figures, it is on page 11, payment vouchers, missing payment vouchers. The first part, when we saw the missing payment vouchers, they referred that the 10 paid payment vouchers, totaling about 300 and something, were submitted to ACC. Again, Chair, you note that on page 11, again missing payment vouchers. This time there are 5, totaling 299, 211. So they are also referring that these are among the 10. Now, when you look at those 10, the amounts were 300. These 5 amounts are 200. How much is involved in these missing payment vouchers? Some of them are only CDF. These are CDF, I'm talking about the 5. The other ones were missing vouchers only equalization fund. Internal or external auditors should take interest, and we need an explanation, Chair, about the financial management at Chama Council. Figures do not lie. It's because of time I've gone into the details and interrogated this report. It's a bad report. It needs a forensic audit. Thank you, I submit.
I think before any other, you wanted to add, Chair?
Maybe, thank you, Chair. Maybe in the response from Chama, we want the basics in terms of overpayments. Is it true that Chama Town Council overpaid to the excess of 200,000 to one contractor? And every time a payment was prepared, who is the treasurer here? Every time a payment was prepared by whoever it is, it passed through your hands. The internal auditor, the council secretary. And one contractor, you are overpaying. We want an honest treasurer. I want an honest answer. Very honest answer. Just like my colleagues have given those details, we need that honest answer. Why you are paying this particular contractor overpayment? Even an overpayment of 1,000, if it's your shop, you wouldn't be happy. But to the tune of more than 200,000, and people are there. My colleague is saying out of 5 payments, whether 10 payments, over 300. Now 5 payments, almost 300,000. I doubt, and this is the reason as to why, like anyway, the MP has walked out. It's the reason as to why members of parliament are lamenting on the floor of the house that there is nothing happening in Chama. You are busy pulling the government down. That's what you are doing. You are not helping the situation. Anyway, we'll hear from you.
Treasurer, you can first respond. Is it true that as Chama Council, you overpaid one contractor to the sum of 235? Is it true? That's the question.
Yes, Chair. I remember very well when we appeared for the audit of 2020. That's where the issues came out. When you review the audit report for 2020, Chair, when we discovered that there was an overpayment, we went further by trying to check the ledgers where we did not update and updated the ledger. This issue came in very well, and we submitted our response for the 2020 memoranda. So this one, since the auditors, when they came for 2020 audit, normally what the auditor do, when they audit in 2020, they also spilled over to 2021 audit, part of audit where they audited up to somewhere March for 2021.
Treasurer, it's not about explaining. You have answered that it's true you overpaid the contractor to the sum of 235. Now, the other questions that our Honorable as well winding up, can you please take the questions that our Honorable has asked, Honorable Nyambos?
Thank you, Chair. The question I noted is about the repayments, where indicated that at first where he was paying in CDF account, which was ending in 120, then at the end, as he proceeded payment, making repayments, there was also one the development account. What happened is that we had closed the CDF account with Zanaco on the 30th September last year. So those payments, when he was trying to make, because we had moved the CDF from Zanaco to NatSave Bank, because it was quite expensive for us to be transacting with Zanaco because of the distance and terrain where administrative component is concerned whenever I want to have a CDF meeting to pay logistics. So we had asked the PS who gave us the authority to close the accounts from Zanaco. So now when he was making payments, those repayments, the contractor called that I went to deposit in this account, then I was told that they have closed. So do we have any other Zanaco bank, Zanaco account, which we can deposit these funds? Then we gave him that we have another one, which is a development account. We can deposit, then we'll transfer that amount to CDF committee. I submit, Chair.
Yeah, winding up.
Just a quick one,
yes,
Chair. Are you confirming that the overpayment was just happening to one contractor?
Chair, the overpayment was for those contracts which they have mentioned, because when we look at
the question is, are you confirming that the overpayment was just done to one contractor? Yes or no?
No, Chair, because there is...
You mean there are even other contractors that you have paid?
No, Chair, I'm referring to what is in the report, because there is also Kadola Bridge.
Which you overpaid?
Yes, we overpaid that contract, but that Kadola Bridge, it was done by council. It was not contracted to any contractor. So when you look at our submission, the bridge was in phase, because the total contract sum for, the BOQ for the bridge was amounting to 150,000 kwacha. At first,
Treasurer, you have just brought something new again. You are saying you overpaid to a contractor over Kadora, is it Kadora? Kadura Bridge. You overpaid?
No, I was clarifying that we did not overpay to a contractor. The council, we are the one who was implementing the bridge.
Just to help you. The question, if you did not overpay any other contractor other than the one who has been stated, say yes or no. Because the other one, overpayment was to the council. You said you did this yourselves. The question by the chair is, and Honorable Korala, is do you confirm that you only overpaid one contractor? According to this report, sir.
Maybe before he responds, you know, Chama, we should not be going around over this thing. They are very simple. And you see, we want to see the good part of you, not the bad part that we are seeing now, through this report. You have given us 3 contracts that we are looking at. The first contractor is Zimba. You have overpaid him. Then now you are saying you overpaid yourselves because it was done in phases by the council. So you overpaid yourselves. So that's why I'm saying, can you give us the right vision so that we see a good part of you? Because what you have seen about Chama, it was a very bad picture, very bad vision. So give us this trying to explain. You cannot explain anything against the report that you have submitted, because all the questions that we are asking you is from the report that you have submitted.
May I assist?
Yes.
The issue of Kadula Bridge, it was a first project. The former MP, Honorable Mumba, what he did was, you know that issue 1.6 million kwacha, the man was too little. So there was that fragmentation of resources. So he said, since the money is this time around, they are not enough. I will give you 60,000 kwacha, but I'm asking the council, through the CDF committee, you do it through engineering department. Then there was a phase 2, which was supposed actually to go by 80,000 kwacha. So when new CDF committee came, they refused actually to honor 80,000. Meanwhile, the director of West had proceeded executing the works, and where he was almost complete the works by actually getting other actual materials from local suppliers. So when you complete the bridge, when
Council Secretary.
Sorry for intervention. Okay, let's put aside Kadula Bridge, which was done by the council. Do you confirm, in terms of these 3 other projects contracted by this particular contractor, and sitting in this report, do you confirm that you overpaid one contractor? Don't talk about Kadula. We have understood. We have read this thoroughly. Do you confirm that one contractor was overpaid several times? Thank you, Chair.
Chairperson, is not one contractor who was overpaid, and the reason is just very simple. In 2021...
Thank you very much. I think for the interest of time, and I'm sure we have taken note. Any comment, our permanent witnesses?
Thank you, Chair. We take note. You have given us the opportunity, the aspect of trying to verify what they presented as evidence on payment batches. We are going to do that. At the time, we will be conducting audit verification of the council submission to this committee. Then the other issues that you talked of, for instance, disparities in terms of issues of refunds, missing payment batches, and overpayments, we actually take note, and we are seriously going to improve on our tests so that we can be able to help the council to come up with proper internal controls. With that said, I would urge the council to take note of the things that the committee has advised. We strengthen our internal controls and record keeping. I submit, Chair. Thank you.
CS, my advice is on internal controls. You have serious lapse on internal controls. I have seen in HRR, it's like you're just receiving people without assessing them. It's like garbage in, garbage out. And then I have also seen in accounts, there's also lapse in internal controls. Your overpayment, it means that the system is not okay. And then we have also seen the missing payment vouchers. You don't give all the information because payment vouchers is the money that you've spent, evidence of the money that you have received. So you don't give it out completely. I've seen also your audit management isn't okay. You need to improve there. Even the management of projects also, there are issues there. Please just look at your internal control systems and improve upon. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. CS and your team, one issue that is key is you need to render an apology to Auditor General for that statement where you contested the report. For one reason that any statutory audit that runs in your institution runs on the average minimum days, 30 days, at which you had all the occasioned time to avail the necessary documents. And that from there, let us ensure that the documents that we are giving to auditors are authentic and they are complete. Your position on contract management is very weak. As the committee observed, yes, you have geographical challenges, but there is an answer to everything. Plan around those challenges because our brothers and sisters in Chama, they require these services, more especially that the government has disbursed the monies. Otherwise, it's very, very critical. You need to interrogate yourselves. Treasury, the overpayments are not necessary. Just like director works, when you are doing your IPs, IPCs, internal audit, and everyone else, the one observation the committee has made of the need for forensic audit, I wish to place it on record that as a line ministry, we did engage Auditor General, that are the principal hirers of such services. I think it was done last year. So that is coming because we are also interested to ensure that the value for money is obtained. Chair, I submit. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chair. From the Ministry of Finance, we just want to really advise Chama Council to really look down on issues of procurement because they are very, very high risk area, knowing that there's a lot of money that's going, especially in issues of CDF amounts. So controlling officer, maybe you just need to keep yourself abreast of all the procedures that are involved. Public Procurement Act 2020 is there, very clear. Public Procurement Regulations of 2022. All these will lay down for you CDF guidelines on how you're supposed to really manage your contracts. Otherwise, it's a very high risk area for you, and you really need to really focus on how the procedures should be done. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chama Council. I think you have learned a lot of things from your honorable committee. I'm sure you need to put your house in order. And also as a committee, we will generate, I think we will give, we recommend on what we have heard to your employers who have got that capacity of recommending, especially where staffs are concerned. Because a lot of things, when you look at this report, there are a lot of bad issues that has been happening. A lot of people have been deprived. In Chama, boreholes, no water, and so forth. And yet, there was even the overpayment of some funds, which cannot be accepted. Having said that, I now withdraw the immunity that was on you. You can travel safely. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and the committee.
You are free to leave.